First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who have taught me this truth. A shout out to Yakim that's out there proclaiming this truth on the streets and, worldwide, the unicorn. Esau has been made bare. I mean, just look at this, and this is just recently, June 5th article, which is just, 2 days ago? U.S.-led coalition targeting Syrians over refusal to back Syrian Democratic Forces, which is a terrorist group, Damascus. So, the Damascus government says the so-called U.S.-led coalition reportedly fighting Daesh Takfiri terrorist group is targeting ordinary people in the northern province of Hasaka and Raqqa, as well as eastern province of Dar al-Zar, as a punishment for their refusal to back and join the U.S. terrorist group Syrian Democratic Forces. So, this is, the letters further noted that the illegal U.S.-led coalition continues to perpetuate massacres against Syrian civilians, leaving scores of people, including elderly people, women, and children, dead over the past few years, and destroying homes as well as civilian properties and infrastructure is targeted villages. So we know what the U.S. is doing. Press TV 12, civilians killed in new U.S.-led airstrikes. So I'll try to get that video as well, but there's more to this. And they really, I bet you Esau will try to freeze this as I try to play the video. Heartbreaking. Family killed in U.S. airstrikes in Raqqa films itself hours before the carnage. So let's see if we can get this to play. Well, I guess it's just nothing more than a JPEG. Thought it was a video. Anyhow, yeah, they probably don't want anybody to see that, right? An entire family was massacred with the U.S. coalition bombed a residential area in Syria's Raqqa as the city still suffers a dire humanitarian crisis under the reign of Kurdish militia. And we always said, before that, especially Syrian Girl had told everyone that the Kurds have always, and you know this, the Kurds have always been a backup plan of the Zionists to take control of Iraq and Syria. The Badran family has moved around to several areas as battles against the Israeli state, because that's who it really is, raged in eastern Syria. They finally found refuge in the Syrian city of Raqqa. The offensive was strongly supported by U.S. airstrikes and killed more than 30 members of the family. Only 4 members survived the massacre, which killed a 1-year-old child. Rasta Badran was one of the survivors, recalled the horror of the massacre to Amnesty International. Only I, my husband, and his brother and cousin survived. I could neither move nor speak. Then my husband and his brother found me. It was dark and we could not see anything. We called out, but nobody else answered. Nobody moved. In the morning, we found Tulip's body, Rasha said. Our baby was dead. We buried her near there by a tree. So, okay, here it is. Let's go ahead and play this video. Told you Esau was going to fuck with it. So keep in mind, this is before the United Snakes killed everyone. This video was filmed by women and children, and they were later killed. So anyhow, pretty much though, that's just ESO's being exposed for everything. There's more. Pentagon, U.S.-led coalition committed crimes against civilians in Syria and Iraq. The U.S. Department of Defense, the Pentagon, admitted that the U.S.-led coalition has committed crimes of killing civilians in Iraq and Syria. Wednesday newspaper quoted U.S. Army Colonel Thomas Bale, a spokesman for the U.S.-led coalition, as saying that despite the U.S. military's best efforts to assess civilian casualties, no one will ever know exactly how many civilians U.S. strikes have killed since the beginning of the coalition operations in the two countries as of 2014. So, of course they're admitted to it, but they're like, oh, well, sometimes it is, we try to minimize. Bullshit! You're deliberately targeting people because, you're trying to overthrow the government of Bashar al-Assad, because that's what you do. Shalom. So, anyhow, there's more, as we're going to just find out about an ISIS school, which these are the people that America says that they're trying to fight against, but yet they're protecting the terrorists because they're just throwing a new name. Syrian Democratic Forces, just like the Free Syrian Army, right? So here's more. Oh, remember how Barack Obama used to say they used to call them Syrian rebels or freedom fighters? Yeah, in Ukraine he called them freedom fighters, and over here he called them Syrian rebels. And we all know that ISIS works for America, that America and ISIS are one, and that it's the U.S. military that trains these terrorists. And they're mostly coming from Saudi Arabia, the supposed ally, right? And we know that eventually Saudi Arabia is going to turn against the whore Babylon the Great anyways, because of the Zionists, and their proclamation that Jerusalem is the capital of the Israeli state. So, wait, there's more. So while the whore Babylon the Great is being exposed for all of its evil, we have two volcanoes going on. Got a couple articles here. 25 killed, dozens injured and missing after Guatemala's volcano on fire shoots ash 10 kilometers into the air. At least 25 people have been killed and dozens injured after the volcanic de Fuego in Guatemala erupted, shooting smoke and rocks 10 kilometers into the air and forcing a mass exodus from nearby villages blanketed by ash. And This, of course, is our southern tribes. Let's see if I can play this here. And this is the Most High is doing it, and this is our tribes. I believe this is the tribe of Zebulon, man. You better repent while you still got time, man, because I think you're running out of time. You know, it's time to get right with Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Listen to the people on the streets. And, of course, there's more. Putin signs law on countermeasures against the United States and its allies. Russian President Vladimir Putin has signed a law stipulating implementation of counter-sanctions against the U.S. and its allies. The legislation is to be applied to any state or person for hostile actions against Russia. It allows Russian authorities to cut international coalition with foreign states and to impose import and export restrictions among other countermeasures. Trade embargo will not extend to certain goods, however, that are imposed by Russian citizens for personal use. Contrary to public fears, the counteractions do not apply to imported essential items for which no replacements are produced in Russia or other countries. So, again, they're fighting the whore. That's the main country fighting the whore. And there's more. Guatemala death toll jumps up to 69 as quake strikes off coast. A 5.2 magnitude earthquake has struck the coast of Guatemala. The seismic event comes just hours after the eruption of the country's Fuego volcano, which killed 69 people and forced thousands to flee their homes. And remember what I said, it's time to repent? It may be too late, but if you got a chance to get right, it's time to get right now. Shalom. The quake was recorded 65 miles south of Champrago, a district along Guatemala's southwestern coastline, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. With the earthquake epicenter out at sea and close to an oceanic trench known as the Middle America Plate boundary, it's not immediately clear whether any damage has caused to homes or infrastructure on the land. And there's just so much going on. There's both volcanoes active right now. Most High is jacking things up, man. This is just Guatemala. I think I'll get to the Hawaii one a little bit in the next video, but got more footage from Guatemala. So trying to get that in the 15 minutes. Not a lot of time.
Venite, vete esta. Ya, gracias a Dios hasta ahí paró la lava, pero de todas maneras el humo.
So just like Pompeii, this is happening to our tribe, the tribe of Zebulon. And guess where they got to go to? FEMA camps. .700 degrees Celsius is extremely hot.